Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. Is everything cool? I am not because I just heard it go. Wah!
What do you mean you
So
heard?
I don't know on this noise. It sounded weird, so I just want to make sure it's good.
No, everything's fine.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of started with some glitches today, so we're making sure that calling in the angels to get the waves of communication open and flowing. Um, but welcome, everybody. And I am feeling guided today to speak about unity consciousness and oneness and what that really means. And Um, I feel personally that as we're entering September 2015, there's been in my own personal life a lot of amazing synchronicity and a lot of amazing movement. And just like I said, synchronicity and magic, it's been really interesting. And I feel like the more we're in our alignment with our source, this is our reality. Our reality is very synchronistic, it's very flowing, it's very magical. Abundance is just a natural part of this. Joy, wellness, wholeness, inspiration, it's all part of being in that divine flow. And what I feel guided to speak on today is part of the initiations to be able to even allow ourselves to enter that kind of a vibration is we have to get to this place where we can surrender our own egoic attachments to things, people, situations, outcomes. We have to trust that source that loves us and supports us and wants the best for us is at work for us. And if we totally align with that, everything just kind of comes together magically because in essence it's about unity. Source is oneness and wholeness, so it's not about lack, it's not about limitation. There's no competition in the oneness with source. There's no sickness or disease, dis-ease. There's no comparison. But when we go into our human part of ourselves, the human dynamic that's very much controlled by our egoic attachment is all about that. And so a lot of what we're ascending in ourselves and collectively is we are ascending into this higher vibration of unity consciousness and coming into this space of oneness with our source. And this brings a deeper and greater reverence for each other, for ourselves, as well as all those around us. And it shows that we can no longer continue to move forward on this planet in a controlling way or in a greedy way or in a jealous way, envious way. Because if you, in essence, are experiencing those emotions, you are not in your alignment with your source. It's very simple to tune into and feel. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or that you're bad. And in essence, in order to shift out of that vibration, you need to deeply love yourself. And so it's important that if you are catching yourself in a moment of jealousy or anger or greed, that you don't judge yourself, but that you just see that with awareness and go, oh, there's that pattern I tend to have where I go into this energy and this emotion can kind of take me, by the take me energetically and just kind of take me with the ocean and I get drowned by it. And instead be able to surf that wave of source and ride the wave of trust and know that the wave is carrying you exactly where you need to go. And you don't even really need to worry about it or think about it too much. I think sometimes we get so focused on doing the right thing that we can even almost shoot ourselves in the foot by doing that because we're so focused on a future outcome that we can lose the now. And in essence, all future moments are now. So if we can get ourselves to just understand that the simplicity of the path is to be very ever present, we will know how to discern and navigate the waters of the now, which in essence is creating our future. And so that's what I'm feeling guided to speak on today. And I last Sunday when we were having the show live, I wasn't aware until after the show that Dr. Wayne Dyer had passed away, and he left his body, and spirit is the way I like to say it. He decided to leave his physical human form and go back into the great ocean of source. And so Wayne Dyer's spirit definitely will forever, be touching humanity through his words of wisdom that were shared and his work that he chose to offer humanity while he was here. I think he was an amazing, amazing soul and was really figuring a lot of things out right there towards the end of his human incarnation. And this week, I've been, in honor of Dr. Wayne Dyer, I felt guided to post just like a little nugget of wisdom from him every day for 75 days in honor of his 75 years on this planet. And I opened up randomly to this page, and I'm going to read it to you today, which, I don't really believe in random, but Source guided me to this page. And I feel like it's so fitting for the topic today. And I just personally want to thank Wayne Dyer's spirit, his spirit guides, his team, and all those that helped him and supported him to share his message with humanity. And I really am open and receptive to his beautiful spirit assisting myself and all the others that I will be working with. This week, I think, was it this week or a week? It's been about a week. I met a soul, amazing soul that I am I and this soul are still processing like what the depth of this connection is about, but we both have had so much synchronistic magic that brought us together, and we both know that we're here to lead great change in humanity, great shifts in consciousness. And what's going to be coming soon is we're really working on this co-creative project called the Corporate Shaman, and we're going to be going into different corporations wherever the doors are illuminated and open. And we're going to be teaching this wisdom in our own alignment in corporate settings and helping those in corporations to process unity consciousness and to, kind of come from a place where when we're creating in a corporate setting, that we still remember our oneness with each other. We still remember our source connection and have reverence for the planet and what we're creating, and to basically teach these different people that are open to us, because it will be who's ready for what we have to deliver, F bombs and all, to be able to handle that understanding of source connection and to really want to join and align as we co create consciously, which is what I feel we are here to do. We are here to shift old paradigms that are no longer serving humanity and that, in essence, have created a lot of destruction, a lot of suffering. And we're here to shift into a higher vibration and frequency and basically embody our superhero selves, our angelic selves, and to work together collectively for the whole. And that takes a lot of honor and a lot of reverence and a great deal of maturity. And just that maturity will be cultivated through your constant and consistent awareness. It's really as simple as that. Constantly staying in a space of awareness of your own inner thoughts and dialogue, your own expressed words. Our words are so powerful. And so, really being conscious of those words and what you mean by what you say. I feel we're leaving the time where we just say things and, oh, I didn't really mean that. Like, we have to be way more mindful of our words and our thoughts as powerful co-creators, because we are here creating a new earth together collectively. And so a lot of beautiful synchronicity has been happening in my life that has brought up some, challenges as well, because whenever spirit comes in and source is activating your new alignment, this can mean there's change coming, and you just have to trust. And I feel like that's something that I've gotten really graceful at in the past few years through a lot of practice. And so will each of you. So just trust that. Just trust that your great spirit, your source that you're one with, wants only the best for you and loves you deeply and wants to help you, wants you to succeed, wants you to fulfill your dreams and your soul mission. And the more aligned we are with our oneness, the more we practice meditation and just being peaceful and present and trusting that source is working everything out for us, the swifter and the more beautifully and gracefully and miraculously everything comes together. I speak this from my own experience, and it's amazing. So I'm going to pause just a second to give you the number. If anybody would like to call in today and you have a question or a comment, I'm always open to a fun dialogue with you. So that can be fun if you'd like to connect today. It's 919-518-9773. You can also call into Computers 2K Voice if you're calling in on Skype. And just remember, if you do call in, you want to mute your microphone on your computer when you call me, just because it'll create a lot of background noise. And then also, if you're listening today, I encourage you, unless you're driving or something, to type your name into the live chat and just share questions, comments, just like, go Tawnya, you're awesome. Yeah, go humanity, whatever you want to say, you can put it on there. So I encourage you with that. So I'll pause for a second. Is there anybody writing in or anybody has any questions, Amnon?
Cindy's saying about your idea with the corporate stuff. She said that's a great idea. Corporate life is very dysfunctional. And then
Yes.
Ron commented, he said, dysfunctional for sure. He said, my company has embraced yoga classes and some meditation just this year. So there are some changes are coming.
Yes. Yes. And that's the beautiful thing is there's so many humans in these settings that, have to work together. And so in order for a corporation to really truly be successful in a spiritual aspect of success is when they work together and when they recognize each other's oneness and divinity. And what often happens in the old paradigm of corporate setting is there's a hierarchy of there's certain ones at the top that get a lot, and then the ones at the bottom that get little, but do a lot of the work and get less respect. And it's almost like it's just that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to earn your way, and you have to pay your way up that totem. And I really feel that's a big part of what my soul's here to help shift. And so I do trust Spirit has it all planned out. And what's so beautiful is in July, if y'all remember, I share very transparently my journey. I had just left my job and just completely jumped off the cliff and said, Source, what do you have for me? I'm letting go. And it was after a lot of science I had asked for, and I released that job. And I had this dream. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the show, but I had this very vivid dream where I was in a corporate setting for an interview, and I was there to do some important work. And I remember in the dream, I interviewed with Oprah Winfrey, and I also interviewed with the Dalai Lama. And when I woke up, I was like, whoa, that would be awesome. First of all, I am so down for meeting either of those humans in person. That would be amazing. But what I felt it was also symbolic of was it was a metaphor for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And these are two humans I deeply have honor and reverence for that are amazing global shift leaders. And so Oprah, embodies that feminine aspect, and Dalai Lama's embodying the masculine. And they're both amazing shift leaders that have created a lot of change on the planet. And so I feel like now looking backwards, which this is why I encourage you to journal your dreams, um, remembering back when this man, Will, entered my life, who is, wanting me to do this with him, and our souls are both like ignited about it. He coming into my world was so fast and synchronistic. And then when I started to think about this whole corporate thing, because it was really never in my dreams or my intention to be in a corporation ever. And so this is why I say you have to have a sense of humor and a great sense of trust in how Source is going to work through you, because it will just happen through you and you'll know it, you'll just feel it. But if you can let go of needing to control it, or, oh, I've got judgment, I'm not for that, just feel it out and go with the flow. It's all going to be beautiful. And I feel like, in essence, Oprah and the Dalai Lama represented the masculine and feminine aspects that Will and I will be bringing to this movement in corporations. And so I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. But we're all processing a lot about this situation and how we're going to move forward. And really quickly, one of the things that I channeled today in direct connection with this is, we can get in our lives, we can get very fired up with passion. And I feel passion is a beautiful and important thing. But sometimes that passion can like burn us out really fast if we don't temper that flame and we don't really discern how we're to move with it and how we're to use that fire. And I think of, just the literal sense of fire. If you think of how quickly a flame can take spark and just light a forest on fire, or it can warm a beautiful glowing campfire in a containment that is very nurturing and beneficial. And so what Source channeled through me today, which I feel is something I meant to share with everyone listening, because this is something that we are to do within, like we are to embody this. And what it is, it says, you are each to embody the alignment of unity consciousness through your balance. You must allow yourselves to temper the fiery flame of passion with the cool, intuitive flow of the water, embodying the yin yang of fire and water unified as one. In essence, our flow must move consciously and with great trust. Otherwise, fire without deep honor and reverence will cause the healing waters to boil and erupt. Water without deep honor and reverence may extinguish the power of the fire and flame. It's all about the balance. And so that's what I channeled today, when I was actually talking to Will about our mission together. And I just feel like that is something worth sharing with all of you listening, because as we're listening to spirit, our, like when I work with the angels, personally, I tell people, don't be afraid of angels, but be prepared for what they will challenge in your journey, because the angels move in like the flame, like the fire, but they also bring that cool, intuitive healing water. And so it's really about the balance of the energy. And we don't need to be in a rush. I think sometimes I will have deep knowing on a situation, but it doesn't mean I'm supposed to rush into action and just go take control. It means I know something and I know what spirit's guiding me towards. I have great gifts of that, you know, precognition. I guess you got precognizance. And so I can see forward a lot of times. But then I also know to just trust. I don't need to go and freak out and make it go in a certain way. Just enjoy the flow. It's like jumping in the river and you're just letting the water carry you. You don't need to be like churning down the river super fast because you got to get to this destination. Instead, lay back and chillax and just enjoy the journey and just trust that those waters know exactly where to carry you. And in the process, you can navigate those waters. You can feel and discern any moment, okay, I'm going to go to the left or I'm going to go to the right. You feel it. And so it's really about being very present, very in the now, and not worrying too much about the future or panicking, because in essence, that's taking us out of our oneness with our source. When we're panicked, when we have anxiety, when we're stressed, we have lost our alignment. You can tell instantly, because in essence, alignment is the absence of those things. True alignment is our ease, our gracefulness, our presence, our trust. That is alignment. And so as we're all practicing this, we're all learning to unlearn all these behaviors that we've been trained to do that aren't really serving us anymore. Just be really patient with yourselves, because it's worth the journey and it's worth the patience, and you're going to have to do it anyway. So you may as well just be patient instead of freaking out, because that's not really going to help anything. Is there any other comments before I read from Wayne Dyer's book?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cindy and Ron, for that, because I do agree. And Ron's talked to me personally about stuff in his job where, you know, he's working in the factory aspect and they're doing a lot of the kind of like the labor 12-hour shifts. And often there's not a lot of reverence for what they have to go through from the ones who work, you know, the desk jobs that are 9 to 5. And I feel like that's the kind of stuff that's going to need to change, is that we need to honor all life that's a part of that creation. We need to honor all aspects of that creation and not just see some as being more worthy than others. Because in truth, like I look at my life as a very blessed life. I feel like just beauty flows to me and I don't even really try. It just flows because I've learned to let go of control and to just be in that flow. But I never see myself as above anyone else. And I feel like, in essence, we're all here to become the embodiment of our inner God self. So if I'm becoming the embodiment of my inner goddess, and I could become this angel on earth or become the queen or the goddess or whatever I feel like I want to call it, that doesn't mean I'm above others and I put others down and I try to degrade those who don't go my way, or I try to take others out who don't do it that the way I think they should do it. In essence, it's really the opposite of that. And so when I see humans that are behaving that way, they are not in alignment with their source. It's simple as that. If you're spewing out hatred, if you're spewing out fear, if you're gossiping, if you're in any kind of anxious state of survival, greed, trying to get your share, you are not in oneness with your source. You are not practicing unity consciousness. Now, in a moment, you could choose to. In a moment's awareness, you could choose to shift that into greater honor And that will take a lot of practice and a lot of focus because we've been trained to do the other way. We've been trained to really believe some people are worthy and some are not, and some, blondes are ignorant, and we tell dumb blonde jokes, and then we think if you have glasses, you're really smart. And we have all these stereotypes, and if you're a guy, then you should get paid more. And women are like, I don't think so. And so there's been this evolution happening for quite some time, and a lot of shift leaders that have helped us get where we are today, which I give honor to all of them. But we're here to really continue with that evolution and to be the queens and the kings. We're not here to play small. We're not here to think that we have no worth, or who am I to think I could have the right to embody that kind of divinity? Who am I to think I could be that powerful and influential? You are absolutely here to be that. You're absolutely here to become the embodiment of your God self. And so that's what I feel, that's the focus for today's show. And that's the focus for our ascension. That really is what we're here to do. And I really wish you all the best of luck on that. And I offer myself to assist and serve you in any way you intuitively feel guided, as a mentor and a helper, with trust, because really it's not in my hands. It's totally not. So I'm going to read this page. It's from Dr. Wayne Dyer's book called Inspiration, Your Ultimate Calling. And I was so grateful that I got to meet him because he signed my book, and I got a picture with him and got to hug him and have a chat with him. And he is a beautiful soul. And I'm just really grateful that I had that moment with Wayne Dyer, very personal moment. But here is what I opened up to. It says, God is abundance. And I'm going to say Wayne Dyer, I feel, is a very intelligent and intuitive man. And in the ends of his books, like towards the end of his life, his books were becoming more and more aligned as far as speaking about source. And in the earlier years, it was much more kind of religious perspective of God, like him. He'd say God, he, the Father. And I feel like what he was doing, this is just my own intuition, is that he was slowly helping deliver this message to the collective in a way they could handle, because a lot of us are so trained and taught to believe God is a male energy as a father, and that God is a he, that we've been taught that. And so someone coming in and saying it too differently cannot be maybe heard sometimes. So I feel like Wayne Dyer was slowly getting everyone prepared for source. And towards the end of these books, he'll say God, and then he'll kind of go into saying source. And from my own feelings of knowingness, I know that the ultimate alignment and truth is the source, because in essence, there is really no masculine or feminine, like extremism. There's no man God or no just female goddess that's an extremism. It's really the balance, like what I was just reading. It's the fire and the water. It's the feminine, the masculine, and that is our oneness. And this is what each of us have to embody, and we have to heal any parts of ourselves that are in resistance to the masculine or in resistance to the feminine, so that we can return to our wholeness, which is our truth. It's what you are. And if you're experiencing disease or dissatisfaction, separation, fear, at some level, you're not aligning with that wholeness. And that's just showing you where you have, some room to shift. And it's really not hard work. It's just a simple, let me let go and trust. Simple as that. It's not even a hard thing. Okay, so here's what he has to say. God is abundance. Picture this: a group of 1-gallon containers has the capacity to speak to each other. One of them wants to discuss its emptiness with one that has always known fullness. Full gallon probably won't be able to relate to the quandary of the empty gallon, since no matter how much empty gallon experiences lack, full gallon won't be able to understand, because it can't be anything other than what it is. So in essence, if you are empty and you're feeling like you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're empty gallon. And then if you come into the realm of a soul that's a full gallon, that's like, I'm one with my source, Christ consciousness, this is where there creates this separation with our lower vibrational egoic energy, as we start to create a separation of, oh, they have nothing, and or we have nothing and they have everything, and there's competition and jealousy. But in truth, the ones who have, at a deeper level spiritually, they see themselves as the full gallon, and therefore they can't even really comprehend the ones that are empty. And the ones that are empty see themselves as not having enough and without and, lack. So they can't comprehend the ones who have abundance. And I know this from so much of my own personal experience with being raised around a family who was constantly projecting poverty consciousness. There's not enough, was constantly told to me. And then as a healer and as a spiritual leader that's led many circles, showing up full and whole and observing the ones that show up empty and that, have judgment towards me for being whole. And it's because they can't really comprehend my wholeness. They're like, what the hell is that? Like, what are you hiding, Tawnya? And this is because I've actually done my shifting work to come into that wholeness and realize that's always been my truth. My divinity is wholeness. But I do have compassion and understanding to the ones who play small because I did play that. And this is where we can look at, why would we as divine beings come into human form and play small? Because we wanted to learn that. So if you can even honor your own journey and realize, oh, I don't need to judge myself. I actually chose consciously to go play small. I chose consciously to be in that relationship where I would not be treated equal. I chose consciously to go, or sometimes unconsciously, I'll throw that in there, but we choose to experience different things so that we can understand the contrast. And by knowing what we don't like, we can then know what we do like. By knowing what emptiness feels like, we can then feel that calling to return to our wholeness and our divinity. So, something to ponder there. But I like how Wayne Dyer just puts it so simply, like jugs, gallon jugs, like a child can understand this, like an empty jug, a full jug. Got it. Okay, so while this is a crude example, it nevertheless illustrates our predicament when we attempt to engage in a discourse with God, our source, that's only known abundance. So think about that. We are all making excuses of how there's not enough, and source is like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's plenty. And so I can't really relate to y'all. And so our source is just waiting for us to call in our divinity, to call in our wholeness, to call in the abundance, to call in the love of the life, to call in the, plenty of money for what we need, to call in wholeness and not sickness. Our source will respond to these calls. But when we call out and we're praying from a suffering, lackful place, source cannot have a dialogue with us. It's just, it doesn't even understand this stuff. So kind of go with me on that part. So it's like source that's only known abundance, and ask it to relate to and correct our perceived shortages. Trust me, God, source, knows nothing of lack, and there's enough of everything to go around. All of God's gifts, including life itself, are given as freely and abundantly as oxygen, sunlight, and water. And even I will put a point on the water part, because we recently had a lot of fires on the West Coast, which are being put out as we speak. And I saw a lot of humans freaking out on the internet and talking about, oh God, the fires, they're going to come to burn the houses down. And is it the end of the world? And I literally had people ask me these questions. Do you think the end of times are coming, Tawnya? And I was just like, I really feel like we need to focus on our wholeness and let's call in the water. It's really that simple. We don't need to go into fear ever. But this is what we've been so trained to do. We've been so trained to believe the world's ending forever. Like, I know, like Hildegard von Bingen, which is an amazing nun. If you go look at her story, she has a movie called Vision. She was handed over to the Catholic Church because they thought the world was ending, and a bunch of them drank some crazy Kool-Aid and died. So the world has been ending forever, apparently. And really, it's not. And what we really need to do is we need to stop separating ourselves from source, and we need to start trusting. So what did I do? I see fires all over. Ooh, that's kind of important to call in some water. I went into meditation. I requested on Facebook, please join me. Let's call in the elements of water. Let's talk to the wind. Let's talk to Earth Mother and thank her for extinguishing these fires that are actually, in some ways destroying life, but also to honor her balance of understanding that she also knows what she's doing in her clearing process. So it's a balance. We're not really in charge. And within a couple days, the rains showed up and the fires are going out. And I know Spirit listens to my call. And I'm here to say that so confidently and powerfully to all of you, because Source answers our call when we're in this alignment. When we're asking for the greatest good of all, Source responds to that. When we ask for abundance, when we call in the water, the nurturing, the help, the assistance, the support, Source is on it. So I really encourage you to all stop thinking that Source doesn't care what you are going through or doesn't care about what's happening in your community, because it does. But if you're focused on the lack and you're focused on the poverty, you're focused on the problem, this is why you continue to create more of it. And it's really each of you as individuals are collectively creating your problems or your beauty. True story right there. I'll pause. Any comments coming in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cindy was saying that she first she asked you for the name of the book, and then she said, "Never mind, I found it." And
Of
she
Wayne
said,
Dyer?
"Yeah, she said it's $1.99 on Kindle, and most of
Yeah.
his books are $1.99 on Kindle right now."
Yes. So if you feel like this is the sad and ironic part of the life experience is that often souls that have been really working hard and diligently speaking, they die, and suddenly we're all super interested in what they had to say, which I have to find a sense of humor in that. But yes, he has got a lot of his books are available, like Cindy said. Thank you for saying that, Cindy, because people, we can probably most of us afford $1.99, no matter what's going on. And so you can invest in some of these Kindle books like online, and then I'm sure that you can find his books, even like go to Goodwill if you're in a place where you need that assistance right now. Thank your angels for bringing you the book. Like I trust that if your source knows you need information and you open up to receive, trust me, ask and ye shall receive. So yes, there's a lot of his books are on sale right now. And if you're interested in learning about him and you don't know much about what he was speaking on, go for it. Check out his books. I really love this one, the Inspiration, Your Ultimate Calling, because I personally, this is what I'm here as a global shift leader to teach in my own aligned way, is the embodiment of living a spirit-led life. And when we live a spirit-led life, there it is all about trust, and it's all about surrender and just discerning moment to moment, feeling the flow and navigating source's direction. And when we're in our higher heart, when we're really centered there, we're connected to everyone and we care about the collective. We care about everyone. We're not in a greedy place and we're not in a fearful place. We're in a love space. Excuse me. I have like hiccups. We're in a loving space where we're really honoring the divinity of life and everyone, but we also can balance what our inner heart is guiding us to do. So we care about everyone, but as empowered empaths, we also observe the situation and think, okay, what do I feel is the highest aligned action for myself as well? And that's an empowered empath. It's not martyrdom. That's also an old paradigm we have to clear, which is, oh, I'll just do whatever everyone says because I'm suffering for the children, I'm suffering for the poor or whatever. No, that's not it. Being one with source is not about poverty. It's not about suffering. It's not about sickness. That is completely misaligned. What is aligned is our oneness, our wholeness, our divinity, our abundance, our prosperity, success, our health and happiness. All of that is what we are able to call forth when we're in our alignment with source. And when we are in that alignment and we're embodying this, this is what we want for all life, even when we're surrounded by humans who don't want it for us back, because we understand they just haven't figured it all out yet. They're still shifting a lot. They're still clearing a lot of old paradigms. They're still deleting a lot of old programs and belief systems. So we don't have to take that personally, but there is this part of laws of attraction that happens for a soul that will magnetically draw in exactly what that soul's needing and what they're calling for, what they're desiring. And we just need to give ourselves permission to trust in that magnetic attraction and that magnetic pull, because that's exactly how laws of attraction works. And so an example is, let's say you really want a beautiful house and you love you've got this dream house, and suddenly you've been focusing a lot of having that house and you're so excited, and then suddenly an opportunity comes to you and it's placed right at your feet to have that house. And what I see a lot of humans that have not done their alignment work do is they'll go into fear and they'll make a lot of excuses of why they now cannot afford the house, or oh, probably something's wrong with the house, or they'll make a lot of excuses to basically turn and flee away from what they truly deeply desire and want. And so we have to get to this place where we know that we're worthy of what we desire, and we just keep calling it in, and we just get excited and we're grateful for whatever we have in the now, and we're so eager and excited for what's on its way. And it really feels just like that. It's like, I am so great. Like when I'm on Facebook and I'm like, I love my freaking life. And I do. I'm like, whoo, I love life. It's so magical. And I'm so excited to see what's coming. I'm so stoked to see what Spirit has in store for me. that is the highest vibration because we're co-creating powerfully and magnetically in that vibration. So if we go into fear and lack, what we do is we basically have that beautiful, energy going, and then we just disrupt it, completely disrupt it, drop the vibration, and we have to start all over again to raise it up. And that's fine if you enjoy that sort of thing. If you're into that kind of thing, keep at it. But if you're not really into it and you see how much it's slowing down your own evolution, I encourage you to have the courage to trust and surrender to that flow and that feeling of excitement and eagerness and inspiration, and let inspiration guide every movement of your life. That is when you know you're one with your source. When spirit is sparking like fire through you and electricity is shooting through your soul, and you're just like pumped and stoked and, whoo, I just got to get up and create, or I'm set to go and lead corporate shaman workshops, or whatever it is. You want to really feel that passion and ride it because it's lifting you to where you're really meant to go. But then also temper that with your intuition and realize you don't need to be in a hurry. You don't need to be freaked out and panicked. You just need to trust, and trust that whatever brought that synchronicity, whatever brought that beautiful gift, it's going to bring it all. So you don't need to think that suddenly it's not going to happen anymore. Like, I think that's a big part of what we're deeply clearing from our collective consciousness is we feel like magic happens, but then that might be all I get. Like, that might be the end of magic for me. So I have to grab hold of this. No, just trust and let it keep coming in, because in essence, that is how you keep co-creating with source, is by letting go and trusting. Does that make sense for all of you? Just type a big amen on there, or a yes, or what the hell are you talking about, Tanya? Just give me feedback. I'd love to
Makes
hear.
sense. It makes sense to me.
Awesome. That's all that matters then, Amnon, as long as you and I understand. Just kidding. He's like, makes sense to me, girl. Okay, so I'm going to read the rest of this page. It says, as St. Paul once said, God is able to provide you with every blessing in abundance. So why is it that there is so much apparent shortage in the world, including people starving and living in poverty? Millions of folks having the persistent problem of too much month left at the end of the money. Well, what I can say for certain is that God is not to blame. There's more than enough to go around. After all, we came from a place that knows nothing of deprivation. And think about that. We came from Source, the oneness, the wholeness of the universe. It knows nothing of deprivation, nothing of lack. And we arrived on a planet that has the capacity to grow the food and slake the thirst of every one of its inhabitants many times over. We have plenty on this planet if we help each other. Plenty. As a species, we human beings have brought the ideas of deficiencies and depletions of God's gifts, Source's gifts, on ourselves, largely by taking the very ungodlike actions. God's Source serves all of us, but our greed has made us forget others and focus only on ourselves. As a people and as individuals, we've brought lack into our lives, and we can only fix this deficiency by becoming more like our always serving, endlessly abundant spiritual Source. So, in essence, we're not going to fix any of our problems here on the planet until we align with our source and we remember our oneness. Once we do that part, that's the inner work, and we each have to do it. Nobody gets away from doing this, because you'll know you haven't done it because you're going to be out there flailing around in the sea trying to drown everyone around you to get your share because you haven't done your work. So it's pretty easy to spot a soul who's got a lot of their inner work to still do. And it's something that we each have to choose to do. And so sometimes that soul flailing around in the ocean, for example, that metaphor is they may be drowning themselves and suffering greatly, but in essence, it will also be a beautiful part of the dance that will bring them to that place of surrender, to where finally they will let go and they will float on their back and trust. And so each of us will go through that in our own way, our own dark night of the souls, our own extreme sense of disconnection from our source that will lead us to let go and just trust in ways that will blow the minds of people around us. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to live in that alignment and that divinity. And that's when we're going to create balance on our planet. We cannot create balance on our planet if we're not balanced within. We cannot expect to have balanced, beautiful relationships if we have not done that balance work within ourselves. So we've got to stop going to this place where we think we got to go out there and get something to fulfill the emptiness or the lack of alignment within. That's never going to help you. We have to do the inner work, and then the external world will shift around you from that inner alignment. I promise you. Try it. Let's see. The answers to the resolution of poverty and scarcity are readily available to us, and they'd be resolved tomorrow if we remembered that we're all one on this planet. We all share the same origins, and we all end up back in the same non-place where we began. The irony that I'd opened up to this page because he just left his body and went back to source. So I find that very synchronistic as well. And it's true. Dr. Wayne Dyer led an amazing life. He cultivated a lot of wealth and abundance in his life, and he helped many, and he was blessed with abundance. And in the end, in his sleep, he left his body, and he probably has millions of dollars there waiting for his family to figure out what they're going to do with it. And really, it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. It's like all that stuff that we work so hard for to compete and compare, it can just go away that quickly. So if we really realize that money is just a reflection of energy, an energy that we can use and utilize to bring alignment and wholeness to our own lives and others, then we'll use it in a more balanced way, and we'll honor it. We won't just like waste it. We won't just compete and compare for it. We won't try to get that person's job at the cost of their own well-being, because we'll have honor and reverence for the oneness that we share. And this is a huge part of what we have to heal and shift. Um, so anyway, that's where I'm gonna leave off on that. And let's see what else was on here. We need to pray for or meditate and hold the vision of, is how I would state that, for the elimination of a perceived shortage and approach God or our source in the style of St. Francis with words that go something like this: make me an instrument of thy endless abundance. So this is very similar in my empath class as well. I'll tell the souls coming is to start their day with, how may I serve? You know, create magic and miracles through me. I offer myself as a vessel for magic and miracles. And that's the same thing. We're asking to be an instrument or a channel for that divinity, for the magic, for the miracles and the abundance. That is you calling out to source in alignment, because you are not at all you are not in any way acting as if you are in deficit or that you are in lack of something. So when we're praying like, please let me have that job and not let that other girl get it, and like I've worked so much harder and she's just such an entitled bitch, like people pray like this. Your source isn't hearing that. Source isn't responding to that kind of a prayer, but source does respond to a prayer of higher heart prayer of, make me an instrument of thy magic and miracles, make me an instrument of the endless abundance, serve and assist and heal and teach and inspire through me. This is where source will start to really ignite in that soul, because that soul is actually offering itself for the oneness of humanity, of all. And so this is going to be a higher called prayer or a higher called meditation of assistance, calling in the water to put out fires, also coming from a place of, please bring in and assist miracles through me. How may I assist in extinguishing these fires? How may I assist in creating balance for the environment and for the lives around me? That is the higher way to pray. So, let's see. Rather than asking God to fulfill something that's missing, in this way we can summon his energy back to us. And that's where I have, like I said, I know what Wayne Dyer is doing, but his energy not as aligned. What really, it's the source energy. We can summon in source's oneness and that energy within ourselves. Masculine, feminine, unity. That energy can come in to assist us. So if we focus our thoughts on lack, and we all know, how many shows have I done in this past year about laws of attraction? I think I talk about it almost every show, because it's that important for each of us to really get this and grasp it, because that is what it's all about. The universe is operating and creating from that law of attraction, from that vibrational frequency. So if you're not really getting that yet, go and watch a few shows and refresh your memory. Go pick up that book, Getting into the Vortex, I talk about all the time, with the teachings of Abram, and really tune into vibrational frequency, because that is really what we all need to deeply embody, the knowingness of that vibrational frequency. Because if we have that active in us, then we will know better than to focus on lack. We will know better than to worry. We will know better than to go into fear. Because we know that when we do that, in essence, as the powerful wizards we are, we're aiming our wand in the opposite direction of what we really want. So if I'm aiming my wand on worry, fear, lack, I am shooting that wand with power and creating. So in my thoughts, if they're about worry, fear, lack, That's what you're doing. It is simple. It is what you are doing. So if you stop making excuses and you stop playing victim games and you stop trying to pretend like, oh, everyone else has got it, but I don't, you are in essence are playing the small game with your little wand and aiming it at lack, 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 lack. So if you change your direction and you say, okay, that's what I've been doing, and that seems pretty damn uncomfortable, but it's what I know, and I keep wanting to go there, damn it. But I'm okay. I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to consciously shoot my wand over here. Spirit, make me an instrument of your magic, your miracles, your abundance. How may I serve? Oh, thank you, life, for bringing this miracle. Thank you, life, for all the beautiful souls that you summon in. Thank you for that extra abundance. Oh, my life is blessed. I am so whole. I am so fulfilled. This is a soul consciously aiming their wand in the aligned direction, and they are going to experience miracles. They are going to experience a beautiful, blessed, abundant life. And it's not because they're more important than the person who's aiming their wand over here. They're just a person that's more conscious. They're more conscious and self-aware of their own divinity, and so they know better. That's the difference. The difference between myself and any of you that are struggling in any way is not that, oh, Tanya's the chosen one, the angels chose her only, and she probably has been blessed from birth. No way. If you knew my story, you'd just laugh at that shit, because I've had a crazy ass life and it has been insanity and like darkness and fear and all kinds of crap. But it was beautiful to lead me to this moment where I consciously chose to choose to aim my wand in this direction. And now I do not choose, no matter what happens. And Source, life has a way of testing us and bringing opportunities for us to really practice this. And I've had lots of practice, lots of things to come that others around me are like, you have every reason to be going into fear right now. And I'm like, yeah, but that wouldn't make any sense. So let's just focus over here on the solution. Let's just focus over here on the wholeness, because beauty is on its way. Magic is on its way. I have plenty of money and more money is on its way. So I've learned myself to be self-aware as that creatress, that priestess, white wizard, angel, whatever you want to connect it with. But that is what I do now. And I don't entertain the fearful places. Even when all those around me want to go there, I will still have honor and compassion for them. And in my best and most beautiful way, find the words to encourage them to shoot their wands in the same direction with me, and to trust that spirit and source want nothing but to give us our highest goals and desires. And if we keep our wands aimed together collectively, we're going to change this planet in miraculous ways. And I know in my soul that's what I'm here to help with. And I know in my soul that many of you that are conscious enough to be listening to this show, that's what you're here to assist with. And we have to start seeing it as a collective team. Like, we are a team effort. We are, like a mighty tribe reuniting to create great shifts on the planet. And it's not through fear, it's not through fighting, it's not through aggression or resistance of any kind. It's through release, surrender, focus, and wholeness. Our alignment is the answer. It is the solution that we are ready for. And so, any of you listening, this show I can feel already is one that you guys listening could watch again and again and again, and it's going to help you keep that fresh. And so if you feel like, okay, this makes a lot of sense, remember this day, mark this show somewhere, save it, go share it on your Facebook page, and watch it again and again until this becomes your truth. Because we have this way where, we can read a book, for example, read a page and go, that's amazing, that makes so much sense. And we'll grasp it intellectually. We'll intellectually, it makes sense. Yeah, there's abundance. Source, is abundance. So we should focus there. That makes so much sense, Tanya. Okay, awesome. What are you going to tell me new? But here's the thing. It's not about newness. It's about cultivating our consistent practice of showing up with this alignment. So it isn't like I have to write a bunch of new books with new information that we're like, give me some new stuff. We really don't need a lot of new stuff. This is laws of the universe stuff. It's very important and it's very simple. But it's really important that we don't just grasp it intellectually, but that we go deeper and we embody this knowing within. Because when we can cultivate the embodiment of anything, we become one with it. When I become one with my abundance, there's no lack. When I become one with my divinity, there's no separation. When I become one with my love of unity consciousness, my oneness, my soul is on fire with love for my source, there's no suffering, there's no loneliness. There is alignment and wholeness and fulfillment and beauty. So does that make sense to everybody?
Again,
Pause
makes a
first.
lot of sense to me.
Awesome, Amnon. How about anybody else got any comments out there?
Nope.
You guys being all quiet. Come on, speak to me. Okay, the last part of this that I was reading. So we need to start seeing ourselves as a vibrational match to the frequency of Source's abundance, God's abundance. If our desire is to attract wealth and prosperity, then we must entertain prosperous thoughts that match our desire and that activate the manifestation process. So I'm going to read that again. We need to start seeing ourselves, and I will even go deeper than seeing. We need to start seeing and feeling ourselves as a vibrational match to the frequency of Source's abundance. So when I say in meditation, when I'm leading a guided meditation, it isn't just about visualizing things. We do go into visualization, but in even deeper ways, Source will speak through me of feel it into being. Because in your feeling, your emotional feeling, you are creating powerfully. So if we are feeling really angry and we are feeling really pissed, we are creating from that energy. If we are feeling really beautifully inspired and we're feeling deep trust and honor and we're feeling abundant and we're feeling blessed, we are creating from that experience. So vibrationally, you need to daily get into a practice whenever you feel anything other than divine and amazing and magical and powerful. You need to pull away from whatever's distracting you, because none of that's more important than your alignment, none of it, and go into stillness and reactivate that divinity, reactivate that vibration of oneness, power, purpose, beauty. Make sense? So that's what you're going to need to each focus on daily, is just remembering to cultivate that and not let the downward spiral take you too far down to where then you really forget who you are. When I see souls that are like let's say a soul that's deeply in depression or has a lot of mental instability, mental problems, or they're acting insane and they're hurting themselves or hurting others. People who have deep drug addictions, anything like that, people who are crazy to the level that they're out killing people and just, doing crimes in the streets and they don't even know what they're doing. These are souls that they have gone so far down that spiral of consciousness that they've forgotten absolutely their own divinity. They have completely lost connection from their own awareness. Now, we're all connected to our source. So even that killer, that murderer, is connected to source. But that murderer needs to remember the oneness with divinity in order to rise out of that vibrational frequency of fear and greed and corruption. So every soul on this planet, no matter who's here, has the right and the power within to realign and reactivate to their highest self and to their highest alignment of their divinity. Everybody, no matter what you've done in your life, no matter what others have done, all of you are worthy of that realignment. And so if we believe in a lot of religions that tell us that we're not worthy, or we believe in our government that says you've done a crime and you can never be trusted again and you must be put down, on the electric chair and put to death, that's humans creating more suffering from their own fear and lack of their own source. So, in order to heal all these issues we're having in our society, we have to realize that we each individually have a right to rise in vibration and to clear our old collective consciousness, to clear our old karmic energy, all the old soul cellular energy, and we come back into the alignment of our divinity. Every one of us not only has a right to that as free sovereign beings, but this is our destiny. This is all souls' absolute ultimate destiny, is to realign and return to the wholeness and become self-aware. That is it in a nutshell. So if you're practicing depression thoughts today and you were kind of like, oh, woe is me, nothing's going right for me, hey, 555 right now. If you're doing that, all you need to do is to catch that and go, wait, what am I doing? This shit's getting old. Like, I've been playing this depression song for a while and it's kind of sucks. I'm going to change the station to like amazing inspiration station, and I'm going to start being this bubbly, cheerful chick that just irritates the shit out of people that are not happy. And that's who I am. And I know that some people around me are just like, what the hell are you so happy about? But here's the thing, they see that and they're kind of curious and watching it, and you're dropping seeds with your consciousness, just you being the embodiment of that love and light. It's triggering, it's contagious, it is activating and vibrationally assisting souls around you. So we need to watch that we don't go unchecked and drop in vibration. If we feel like we're downward spiraling in any way where we're feeling a lack with our source, catch it as soon as possible so that you save yourself a lot more climbing time. Think of it as like, I think I told Cindy once we were doing a soul coaching session, and Cindy and I were chatting, and Source was speaking it through me in metaphors, and I was like, it's kind of like you're pushing a VW bus up a hill in San Francisco, and it feels like a lot of work because you've been taught so much crap that you're really unlearning all that, and you have to build the momentum to get that VW bus up that hill in San Francisco, which if you guys can picture that, that's pretty steep. But you keep going. And what happens a lot of times is I see humans that will be going. They get almost to the top and then they go, oh, this shit doesn't even work. And when they let go and that freaking VW bus plows them over, drags them down the hill, and then they're at the bottom crying and, completely embodying victim. Oh my God, nothing works out for me. And you're in that energy. If you can kind of visualize this as a person physically being dragged down the road, and then they have to get up again because you still got to get up there. So now we got to go and focus again and get back up that hill. So vibrationally, the best thing you can do is to keep your focus on your destination. Climb, climb, climb. Raise that vibration, raise that fire, let that flame ignite and rise, let that Kundalini energy rise. There's so many metaphors for this, but keep it rising. And when you feel, okay, I'm now embodying this new frequency, let yourself just stabilize there for a little bit. Don't be in this rush to like ascend to I don't know, like if people have this goal of ascension, like you're going to just burst into flames. I don't know what humans' goals are, but some humans that I connect with spiritually, when they're on the spiritual path, it's almost like no matter what's happening, they can't be satisfied because they need even more ascension. Like, give me more. And no, you don't. And actually, you want to be mindful because that's kind of like what I read with the tempering of the flame. You bring in too much fire too fast, you can actually destroy your creation. You bring in too much water too fast, you can destroy your creation. So it's all about the balance. So you rise into that frequency and you cultivate this stability there, like, okay, this is feeling really good. This is my new embodiment. And then you get really comfortable. And this is how spirit keeps us evolving. Ooh, time to rise again. So then we get called to rise again. But we never need to go into fear and we never need to go into lack ever. And when you do that, it's like being dragged down the hill in San Francisco with the VW bus plowing over your face and dragging you down. And so the better choice is to just take a break and pause and rest and kind of lean back and ask some friends to join you and lean with you. Hey, let's just lean here and talk about how awesome life is for a few minutes. Oh, okay, I built up my energy. Let's push this bus a little higher. We can raise this vibration even higher. And you keep your energy on being grateful. Sit back and check out the scenery. Oh, it's so beautiful here today at San Francisco while I'm pushing this bus up the hill. What a beautiful day. This bus is so beautiful. I love this. I'm getting a workout. Look at all the good things I have to be grateful for. And then you reach that destination of only that hill, by the way, and you can be excited and celebrate that destination being achieved. But now life is going to call you to more expansion, more evolution, more rising. So if we can get comfortable with this and we can stop basically creating self-defeating behaviors where we self-sabotage and go into any kind of lack, we will achieve greatness on this planet again, like we have before. As humans, we have achieved amazing greatness in our technology and in our understanding spiritually and in our evolution with spirit and source through generations. There have been times humanity has been very advanced, and then what we've done is we've gone too fast at times and we've tried to get too greedy or too powerful with some energy that we don't quite understand yet, and then we burn the house down. So we need to, as humans, realize that this time around, I'm hoping, I have a goal that we can all rise in that vibration together and we can all cultivate this, expansion and this frequency of oneness in a way that is very peaceful and beautiful and makes us all feel good and is very fulfilling, rather than try to destroy each other with it, whatever we put a label to. So if you're in a spiritual world and you're in a deep, passionate desire, fast fury, you need to get to some destination to be spiritual enough, know that that's BS. And in essence, your ego is running the show. even if you're calling it spiritual. And to shift that, you need to see that ego part of yourself that is really not feeling fulfilled or enough. Like I have a desire to do this shaman work with Will, and to go out and ignite the world and light them up with passion and inspire them. But I am not in such a hurry that I need to burn down the house to get there. I'm in this I'm in this beautiful place of reverence with my life where whatever is coming, I'm open and welcoming, but I'm also moving with a flow of trust. I don't need to be in a hurry. And I feel like that hurry energy is a lot of our old paradigm, the old collective consciousness, where we think we have to control it, we have to contain it, we have to create order. And no, you don't actually. The universe is not doing that. The universe is very much spontaneously creating and expanding and evolving without any of our help or our say. And so, if we can sit back and trust in that and trust that we're a part of that, and we can surrender ourselves as one with that expansion, it's going to happen so much more beautifully for you in ways that you don't even have to work as hard. The human way is on the hamster wheel, making it happen at the cost of whatever. And the higher aligned, unity consciousness way is to surrender and trust that source already has it all planned out, and that we can just step in. And when we feel inspiration strike, we take action. Then we sit, we're still, we're receptive, we're present, we upload, we take action. It's how I have been mirroring this to you all for over a year. That's what my life has been. I teach you and speak to you truth through my own experience, my own expression, and it will never change from that. I will never know what we're going to talk about next week, nor should I want to. And this is what we have to let go of. The old way is like, I need to know it all. I need to control it all, and I need them all to think I'm enough. And so that's a lot of ego. But the new way is I really know nothing, but yet know much at the same time. Very interesting with that paradox. But know nothing as far as what spirit is calling me forth in the future, but know everything of self and my alignment in the now, and know my capabilities, know my power, know my purpose and presence now. So everything that's going to come to me, I'm prepared for, just because I know myself in the now. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm kind of asking, knowing you're not going to say any answers, but I want you to practice, like kind of process that we need to release this desire to control, because we're not in control. And we need to stop competing with each other and comparing, because it's not helping. But we do need to honor source when source is calling us, when our hearts are firing up with a direction. Just honor it and trust it's all going to work out. And we don't at all need to go into fear. We don't at all need to compete and compare. We need to trust our heart knows and our soul knows, and all will be provided. And if we go into that unity consciousness together, we are going to absolutely create a new earth that is going to be beautiful and abundant and amazing, just like where many of us have come from. We've come from this wholeness and this divinity. And our goal, I feel in every fiber of my being, is to come and embody that in physical, and to bring that consciousness that we understand and what we knew we came from when we were with Source. We are here to embody that in our lives now, and to let go of this old game that we've been playing. It's like a very outmoded Sims game. My daughter's all into Sims, but an outmoded Sims game where everyone's competing and comparing, and it's really not fun. So let's upload the new consciousness, the new game, which is let's all play, let's all have fun, let's all share, let's all connect, let's all honor our higher hearts, and let's all lead and live with courage in the alignment of our own source. Let's be authentic. That's what it all comes down to. So we went over 5 minutes. Is there any last comments or questions coming in, Sir Amnon?
No. No.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I hope today was something that actually really got you thinking and got you feeling vibrationally. And I encourage you to maybe note this show and keep it and save it and watch it again, because this might be something you have to hear a few times to really process it. And ooh, my dog just knocked the light off my table.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, honey girl. And that must mean the show's over. But basically, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am going to be offering some more workshops in my local area and for remote clients. So if any of you are interested in contacting me about that, one's going to be healing through the chakras. And we're going to be talking a lot about the energy centers, the chakras, what that means to us, how they affect us, which will be a lot of information to help people understand the auric clearing work that I'm assisting with. But I'm going to be offering those workshops with an art project. And if any of you that are not local want to participate, just contact me and we can set up information and details and times either to work as a group or individually. And then the Empowering Empath and the Sacred Soul Sister Circle, anything you guys are needing. I can do past life regressions and remote healings. My remote clearings, I'm actually going to offer at a little bit less price because when I'm doing sessions in person, it's like therapy. And what I'm charging for is my time because I have to invest a lot of time. Usually before a client comes, I'm meditating for an hour or so, uploading and processing. Then I'm working with them 3 to 4 hours. And then afterwards, I also have to have that time to just decompress everything. So that's my time. And so that's why when I do sessions in person in particular, they take quite a bit of my physical time. But when I'm doing remote sessions, I was thinking of offering specials for remote clients that want to do auric clearings. And if you've never done one and you've been curious, contact me and we could do those for, instead of $350, we could do those for $250. So if you guys are really been curious and you're feeling spirits guiding you to do some of that clearing work and you don't live near me, or you even do live near me, but you're okay with practicing and opening up into receiving in a remote way, contact me and I will help you with that. Because I want to make sure I have a price point that can reach people that, are still crossing the bridge to abundance, which I encourage you to keep going with that because you can call forth anything you need. But I will work with you. So let me know, contact me. You guys see my website on there, so you can let me know from there. And go and follow us on YouTube and share our videos with people. That's something my heart has deep gratitude for each of you that help, because that helps us spread this wisdom to more people. And my heart's desire is to wake up the planet. So if you help me with that, each of you listening are a great part of that. It's not just me. If I have to do it all myself, that sounds exhausting and it's overwhelming. But if I see all of you as my team and you see that you're a part of my tribe and my team, that's going to help us work collectively. So I welcome your help and your support in any way that your heart calls you to offer it. And I'm really excited to do this corporate shamanism stuff. So if any of you have curiosity about that, or you'd like us to even come and visit your corporation, contact me and I will connect with you on that and we will create together. This could be where I start traveling and I can come visit Cindy, maybe. Come visit Amnon. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and have a beautiful and blessed day. And remember, you are amazing, badass creators. Stop pointing your wands in the lack land, point it in the abundance land and watch what happens. Let's consciously do this together and we're going to make magic happen. All right. Thank you guys so much. Mwah! Namaste and blessings.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVBI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.